Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers Podcast, a podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus de Mortiel, together with Kev the Gamer.
Fallout is here!
MajorStupidity.
What's up?
And, well, Death Shroud 09, somewhere missing in action, as usual. Anyway, so trying out our new fancy stuff this week on an overlay of podcast webcam stuff. And because, well, I'm lazy and can't get stuff done in time. Hey, there's Travis back. Say hi, Travis. Or not. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing this week. So I'm pretty certain, just on a random guess, everybody's been playing
Fallout 4, baby.
Except for that scrub Travis.
Not Fallout 4?
Not Fallout 4. I don't think anybody's been
His
playing
potato
Fallout 4.
can't even run it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can at like super low resolution.
Nope. Fallout 4 runs like ass. It runs like ass.
Well, we're not talking about the Xbox version. Come on now.
PC version runs like ass.
Not on my PC.
Oh, it runs like ass.
I get 60 frames constant.
I get frame rate dips inside our city, all urban centers all the time.
I don't, not unless I'm live streaming it.
Uh-huh. You guys sound like you're doing a fantastic job of not playing the correct games then. You know, Fallout 4 doesn't work right for you.
The game likes CPU power. So this is one of the few games that actually takes advantage of my i7.
Yeah.
Which like I'm not seeing CPU dips. And you've got that 6300 or what's the 4300? The
That's
AMD?
like the 4100, I think.
Yeah, that AMD.
So, yeah, it's probably my CPU messing up there.
Yeah, I think that's what's giving a lot of people trouble is their CPUs aren't fast enough for the game.
Isn't that Bethesda's fault?
No. Now, when you have a PC, if your PC ain't fast enough, it's on you because you should have built a faster PC.
Shh. Metal Gear Solid 5 looks better, and I don't have any issues with frame rate drops in that game.
So you say.
My cam is
that
on.
game runs like a dream.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the chat. I see what you're doing, Morty, but on my end, it's on. And I see what you're seeing, too. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And broken. See, this is why, moral of the story, guys, you don't use Skype, the web version of Skype, because it sucks.
I'm loving the web version. I got on it today.
But guess what? It's not functioning right, so...
It is the first time I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I could have onto the web app, but, we're live and shit, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we've kicked you out of the call.
Kicked, dropped, same thing.
Skype dropping everybody out of the call. So Joe and Kev have been pretty much dedicating their entire lives and everything to it, to, playing Fallout 4. Travis, what have you been playing?
Fallout.
Not Fallout. Actually, I've been playing some Fallout 3 and some Fallout New Vegas, kind of just...
Fallout Potato Edition.
Fallout Potato Edition. Went back and did some Oblivion as well. Kind of from last...
I think he's switching, finally.
Kind of from last stream got me interested in Oblivion again, and...
Hey, I was actually just discussing that with someone the other day, too. Like, discussing, hey, there's Kev. Finally, welcome to the podcast, Kev. But I was actually discussing that with someone when we were discussing the thematic differences. Like, take out the stuff that was done wrong with Skyrim. If you just look at why I like the way that Oblivion was presented before better, is because in this fit with the story, this wasn't a problem with anything Bethesda did, but essentially Skyrim felt very cold and rather bland and colorless because, well, it's a snowy area. That's going to happen.
To be completely honest, though, that can...
There was some colorful areas. Like, I loved Riften in Skyrim because it felt very folly all the time, very
Oblivion
colorful there.
Issues.
But Oblivion, yeah, it had issues, so did Skyrim.
I did not like the world.
I actually loved the way that they designed the world. It felt like, honestly, I felt more history, more like
Are you talking about visual design or like
just everything? The visuals and the actual world design. Like I absolutely loved like you go into every castle and there was like secret entrances that you had to hunt down and find, and sometimes there was a quest attached to them, like the vampire lady living in the basement of one of them that was sneaking up into the jail, kidnapping prisoners from the jail, dragging them down to her like little lair and, you know, sucking them dry and filling up bottles of blood from them. Like stuff like that. There's those little things that you found in Oblivion that just weren't there in Skyrim. Skyrim just felt really devoid of a lot of that, and I just kind of felt like there wasn't that history there. Like
it's the casualization of the franchise, which they actually casualized Fallout, and I love that the way they casualized Fallout.
Well, I actually, you know, I got to, you know, before I packed everything up and moved, I was sitting around, you know, spectating some of Fallout 4 with my brother-in-law who was on the podcast last week, and got to see it on an Xbox One. Didn't see any frame rate drop issues that supposedly been happening.
Them zeros though.
Like honestly, didn't see any sort of hiccups with it at all. Looked gorgeous.
I've talked to a few guys on the Xbox version. They say there are some frame rate drops, but it's not the way the reports are making it out to seem.
Yeah,
like the game doesn't feel totally broken, but there's enough little things that keep popping up that keep just kind of yanking me out, going, why isn't this better polished?
Yeah, and
I don't have these problems.
Yeah,
I have i7 and 970, no problem here.
Like the dialogue system, I constantly go into a dialogue with someone. Like I remember major quest event, I go to talk to, I can't spoil it, but basically someone who's very important in a very important conversation, like a big twist in the story. I go through the entire conversation with the guy, and then it just stops. It like we sit there for a second on a blank screen with him just kind of looking at me, and then it exits out of the dialogue. So I go to talk to him again, like, do I have to restart the dialogue? And it's all the way back at the beginning. He's like, oh, I wonder, he's like, you're wondering why you're here. And it's like, you just restarted this entire fucking conversation like we never had it. Just out of nowhere. Like, shit like that. It's like...
That's Bethesda charm. But yeah, that's a horrible bug. But that's Bethesda charm.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't get a pass. Nobody gets a pass.
Oh, yeah. Going back to the Skyrim aesthetic, I feel like you're kind of on point with the whole like snowy wasteland kind of thing, but I think that there's I feel like that's a lack of imagination in terms of the art designers, because I think that snowy wasteland can be done in a beautiful and compelling way.
Yeah, like, visually, I liked how Skyrim looked. It's like the only thing the game has going for it.
Well, the thing is like I said, in a certain way, it fit. And but in a certain way, I honestly, like, I was not too into it. Like I felt like I enjoyed the aesthetics of Oblivion better. I very much.
I felt like there was so little variety there.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
In Oblivion.
In Oblivion, it was like super homogenized. I didn't like everywhere you went. It was like the same kind of general setup. Like,
not
it felt like
really.
Skyrim had a lot more variety.
And what are you meaning?
Like
every city was completely uniquely styled and set up, and like
again, like I go through Oblivion, and everywhere I go in Oblivion feels like here it is, high fantasy. Like here's generic high fantasy everywhere you go. Skyrim at least felt like it tried to break out of that mold. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, is that from what I saw in Skyrim, like a lot of that. Now, granted, there's the big difference between the provinces of Cyrodiil versus Skyrim. Skyrim obviously is majority Nords, whereas Cyrodiil does have a lot more diversity of cultures. But in Skyrim, it was like I felt like it was the same thing. I saw the same damn guards getting shot in the knee, same damn times, and stealing sweet rolls.
And like, yeah, I dislike Skyrim a great deal. Like, I will not praise it for many things, but visually, like, you go into Markarth and it's like the city built into like the mountainside. Like, the visually just looks great and artistically looks nice. You go into Riften and it's like, here's the wharf city, on all the docks and whatnot. It just felt like every city was a lot more visually distinct.
Like, personally speaking, I mean, this is just my opinion, but I feel like Oblivion's setting doesn't quite hold up as well to like the dark and gritty aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it lends much more to a high fantasy, colorful kind of setting, whereas Skyrim really tried to go into that hardcore, dark and gritty and bleak realism almost.
If there's one thing I can say about Skyrim, it definitely set a bleak setting because it was very gray. It was very snowy, except for Riften. But when you're saying about homogenize, if you look at the cities in the way they were set up in Oblivion, just to kind of give you some compassion, you had
they're really different.
You had Anvil, the pirate city. You had Cheydinhal, which to me was supposed to be a dark elf kind of influenced city, but it really just looked like a bunch of Tudor houses. You had Llewellyn that had a lot of the influence from Argonians because it was right next to it. Breville was very Nord inhabited because it was right near the border of Skyrim. The Imperial City was obviously very unique. And then I want to say Stalingrad, Skarsgård or whatever it was, the city that was in the middle that had a vampire for the mayor. He was actually that was a really awesome place too. But each one of them were unique and felt culturally fitting. Like I said, you had the place that was the closest to Morrowind, had a lot of dark elves, had a lot of influence on that. You had Bruma next to the Nords, you had Llewellyn that was next to the Argonians, and they all kind of had cultural mixing from those borders, which really felt like I was connected to the whole world of Tamriel. Whereas in Skyrim, it's like, oh, you go to the southernmost town. Yep, still Nords. And that's, like I said, it's not necessarily they did anything wrong.
Where they kind of established, so...
Yeah.
Again, I know there's variety in Oblivion. It's just from my experiences playing it and how I felt about it. This is all subjective stuff. I can't say, objectively, Oblivion had no variety. It's that's just how I felt when I was playing it.
One of the things about it that I felt that was kind of monotonous, but unfortunately this was also something they failed with. They are kind of getting a little bit less and less good at their dungeon making, because in Oblivion, the Iliad ruins, you see one, you pretty much see them all, except for a few rare exceptions.
It's just you go every fucking quest. I can't stand Skyrim because it's every damn quest.
Yeah,
I lost something, or someone needs to do this, or you got to kill this guy. Going to the fucking 15th dungeon in a row.
Kev, if you're playing Fallout 4, I'm gonna kick you.
No.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. Well, you guys know I'm not into Elder Scrolls.
Okay. He's just patiently waiting there. I was like, he was looking very intent, and I'm like motherfucker, if you're playing Fallout 4.
Hey, Jeremy got away with playing Rocket League several times.
I think Bethesda really needs to hire some good Dungeons and Dragons writers.
Oh god, yes.
They need to hire writers, period.
Well, if you get some good Dungeons and Dragons DMs, people who have been designing dungeons for years and know what a good and fun and well-designed dungeon is, and try your best to implement that in game form, and I feel like you'll get a lot more success and a lot less, repetitive things.
Yeah, and that was one of the things with a lot of stuff that I've seen in those games. They do have some unique areas that you get more fleshing out for them, that they feel better. But, yeah, that's there's other games that I've seen that do it much better, and I actually feel rewarded for going into a dungeon. Now, I haven't played Witcher 3, but in Witcher 2, every time I went into a dungeon or someplace hidden, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to find here. This is different. I've never seen anything like that.
Witcher 3 is a lot like that, too.
Yeah,
I was going to ask about Elder Scrolls Online. How much is that different from Skyrim? Because I heard people wanted to be Skyrim Online, but it really wasn't. Skyrim, you play with your friends, and it wasn't.
Well, I actually, played a bit more of it and actually kind of got into it, and I'm kind of getting down with it. I haven't played it recently, but I was kind of getting down with the way it was going. Essentially, the problem that I had with Elder Scrolls Online, which is a common complaint I hear, is that essentially the world kind of feels like it's trying really hard to be an Elder Scrolls single-player game while kind of arbitrarily mixing an MMO thing. So kind of it's got an identity crisis. It doesn't know if it wants to be an MMO or a single-player Elder Scrolls game. And I think that's
better than most MMOs trying to do Warcraft.
Yeah.
So, the ultimate Elder Scrolls game would be released as now I'm not right now I can't recall all the provinces, but it would be released as having like the central province, and then over time they would develop an add-on and release other provinces into the game that would open up for players to go to and continually develop the game that way until it's very large. But releasing individual games that are individual provinces is kind of okay as well. And I feel like Elder Scrolls Online kind of wanted to do what would be, good for single player, but they also wanted the whole multiplayer thing as well.
Yeah, the thing is that one of the things I also liked about Oblivion, which you really didn't see in Skyrim because there wasn't as much availability for it, was the fact that I could go to like the borders of certain areas and kind of they actually went to enough detail on it where you could actually see a bit of the other regions. And I was kind of, my hope with Oblivion was, they could totally tack on, this other province in there. Wouldn't that be awesome for DLC to tack on whole other provinces? And the other thing about Oblivion, by the way, which hands down makes it the best Elder Scrolls one that they have to date, Shivering Isles. You can't, like Skyrim, Morrowind, none of them have anything close to that amazing of a DLC. Shivering Isles, hands down, was amazing.
I have a hard time comparing Morrowind and Oblivion. Like, those felt different enough.
Yeah, because Morrowind is really quirky, right? Like
Morrowind is basically like old school RPG trying its damnedest to not be. Like,
I don't know. Like, honestly, like, I compare it in there because to me it's the second best Elder Scrolls title.
What would you consider the best?
I think honestly, it kind of jumps up there, ties with me because,
like, I'll be honest, I've only played Morrowind.
Accounting for all the DLC for those games, I don't know. Morrowind, it gets a toss up on is it the best or the second best compared to compared to Oblivion.
It's my favorite, but it is the hardest one to play because it's really like its mechanics are so outdated.
There's definitely a learning curve.
It's just story wise, like the world and how they did the faction setup and everything. It blew me away, and it makes me wonder, like, why aren't they still doing this complex faction system? Like, you go to do quests for factions in Morrowind, and you constantly get the idea that it's like these factions aren't doing this because you're some amazing, like each of them has their own aims and goals and something they ultimately want from you, and it made it feel so much more real.
That's the thing is that with one of the things about Morrowind and the way they did it is, first of all, you weren't like they didn't hold your hand.
Oh yeah,
they really didn't hold your hand, almost to a fault, which is one of the things on where kind of it lost some popularity. But I think we've spent enough time talking about that.
Every time we get back on Elder Scrolls, it's supposed to be Fallout Hype Week, and y'all talked about 15 minutes about Elder Scrolls.
Okay,
it's Fallout season.
Who cares?
Oh yeah, didn't this start as like my introduction of what games I've been playing or something?
Yeah,
like
so
that?
he went back and he was enjoying himself some. Some good old fashioned Oblivion.
I'll actually run on his potato.
Yep. A lot of games are run on his potato.
Yeah, more games than people give credit for. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not enough an elitist to actually have a good gaming computer, but he's just enough that he can't handle playing games with like low resolution textures and whatnot.
Well, I'm sure if you lower the resolution enough, he'd probably be fine.
All right, there's this one exception to that. I'll play Dota with low resolution textures just so I can get higher FPS.
I refuse. If my resolution has to drop below.
No, I'll drop my rendering down to like 70%, so it looks like
Yeah.
just to get some better FPS, so I can have good reaction time. That's how it is.
First world problems.
I know, right?
Anyway, I haven't played any damn games this week because I've been moving, which is why we're on cams this week, in case anybody's wondering, because some lazy son of a bitch had to move and didn't have time to get gameplay recorded to put on the podcast.
You should have told me. I got hours of Fallout recorded. I would have sent you some.
Oh, well. Shit happens.
Yeah, I would have loaded up Shadowplay and recorded something.
Yeah, life happens. We're on cams, and everybody gets to see Kevin's goofy face. So everybody else is normal. Kev is goofy.
It's black.
But
yeah, he's token.
So what was the stories? Was it 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4?
I think we're on live now, so we might as well just run through them.
Okay.
We'll run through them and get to the actual evergreen that we have planned. If
that works. All right. So anyway, our first story of the night is that Pornhub traffic tanks when Fallout 4 launched.
I didn't realize we were starting the evergreen topics.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna knock through these.
I don't
stories.
know. I still think, and I know we're gonna disagree on this. This is
hold on, but let me finish the intro of the story. Then you guys can go on there because I've got a witty way to introduce the story. So what we're not really sure if it was because people were watching the promo footage on Pornhub that much, or if it was because porn watchers were too busy playing Fallout to watch porn. Let's go ahead and go to our senior porn correspondent, Kev, for more.
Joe, I'm married. Joe's the only one here, so he has to be the expert. I'm happily married.
All this is falling on deaf ears, buddy. We know. Mr. The internet is made for porn, Kev.
It is.
No, it's all those people, all the porn watchers decided to get up and start developing porn mods for
they got to come up with the nudie mods.
Yep. Hey, go on Nexus mods. There's already a nude mod for female characters in Fallout 4.
And Joe knows this for a reason.
Because I go and I look at the top mods, and that's already in the top mods.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for, Mad Max themed mods.
It's going to happen, and it's going to be awesome.
Fury Road themed mods?
Yeah.
Good.
Bethesda's already said they're going to axe anything that's copyrighted material.
Well, yeah, because we'll get to that. So anyway, so porn and stuff, and apparently porn industry suffers when new video games are launched. So apparently
we're going to ignore the fact that we argued that correlation does not
equal causation.
No, I'm ignoring the fact
we argued for that when they were like, violent video games cause violence, but then we're like, porn viewership went down with the game launch.
I'm not only am I ignoring that, I'm ignoring that Tomb Raider came out the same night.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an Xbox One, you should be excited for Tomb Raider, but I have an Xbox One.
I watched some footage of Tomb Raider. It looks so good.
Oh, Tomb Raider looks so good, but I'm like, you know what? I'm playing Fallout. Yeah, the new one came out on the same day Fallout. Yeah, we were like, what are you doing? They announced them at E3 within hours of each other.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, Fallout's going to destroy you. And I'm hearing actually it's an excellent game, but I'm also hearing the PC version is coming out in February. I'll wait till February. I'll get my 60 frames, thank you.
February 8, Dark Souls 3 is coming out in February. I want to
Dark Souls is coming out in April.
Realistically speaking, when you get this close, I can understand it. It's still probably not great, but
it's getting 9s from all the review sites, getting 8s and
9s. In terms of sales, we're getting close enough to the holiday season where a lot of people are just like, I'm just going to get this game for Christmas, in which
yeah.
In those
I'm just getting it for Christmas. Yeah.
Motherfucking Santa. Gonna drop it down the chimney.
All I know is people are about to get creamed.
So the dual launches don't, it's not quite as bad. It's still bad, but you're not typically fighting as much for the first day sales.
Who published Tomb Raider again?
It's Crystal Dynamics.
Isn't it?
No, publish, not
develop. Publish, yeah, it's Square Enix.
Yeah, Square
okay, Square Enix is like, we're going to compete with Fallout, guys. And Fallout's just like...
no, you're not.
They really should have moved the date to like 2 weeks sooner, because they...
Yeah,
2 weeks, because they could compete with Assassin's Creed, but they weren't going to do anything with Call of Duty. They weren't going to do anything with Fallout.
Yeah, because you had this was a packed season when you think about the heavy hitters financially. Yeah, you had a lot of really big hitters come out this season.
Just in the last few weeks, we had Halo, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, of course, Fallout. There was another good one that came out a few weeks ago. See, I can't even remember them all.
Yeah,
a single one.
This is gaming season. Like, if you're not gaming right now, you just don't like video games. I can't talk to you.
Hopefully next week I'll have some game footage of the game that I'm going to be playing most of this week, which is Total War Arena.
I'm hoping that's good. Is that an RTS? It's not like Vermintide. Vermintide is this FPS.
I don't even know what it is. I know that I got an invite to the closed beta for it, so I'm just like, it's Total War. It's Total War. That's all I know. That's what happens when you're a Total War nerd. Now I'm going to load it up, and it's going to be a MOBA, and I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, actually, I did that. I got invited to, it was a Dead Island MOBA. And I'm like, the hell is this? Like, I played that for about 45 minutes and wanted to curse someone out.
You know, I can understand the mindset of seeing a growing industry and wanting to like hop into it and take a piece of that pie.
I get tired of it.
But so many companies just tank because of the kind of foolishness that goes into that decision making. We've seen it with the MMOs, we've seen it with the MOBAs, we've seen it with all kinds of things, not even just in video games, in new technology as well.
Yeah, but with video games is especially bad. Like, I can remember back when, Morty might remember this, back when everybody was trying to be a Resident Evil clone back in the 90s. Yeah. And then everybody tried to be a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter clone after that.
Yep.
Then everybody tried to clone Call of Duty.
Oh god, there's some really bad Mortal Kombat clones out there too. I'm not gonna lie.
That is literally, this game did well. Let's just copy it, because we're gonna steal all the fans. Because the fans of the existing game are totally gonna drop that game to come play our game.
Yeah,
what the difference is,
not how it works, by the way.
But see, what's funny is, like, when you watch movies, that's how that works, and I think that's part of the problem. We tried so hard to be like the movie industry.
Tries so hard to be the fucking movie industry.
Right. It's like, you're not going to pull Dota players onto this new MOBA, no matter how much like Dota it is.
Same thing with like Call of Duty. It was like, they came out, they were like, we got this tacked on multiplayer. It's like, no one's going to give a shit about your tacked on lazy ass multiplayer. They're just going to go and play Call of Duty.
Right. It's like what happened was when you got all those people start playing Call of Duty or Battlefield or Halo. Counter-Strike. They stuck to their guns.
Well, I think, yeah, but the thing is where a lot of them see it. Like, for example, that whole multiplayer craze started with Unreal Tournament. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and then Halo crashed the scene, and all of a sudden, multiplayers are a big thing. Call of Duty tacked on a multiplayer to their normal single-player campaigns.
Yep, and that's when they blew up, because the first two Call of Duties didn't have multiplayer.
No, they had nothing.
I think it was Call of Duty 4 where it really started.
It was Call of Duty 3 had a split screen, and that was kind of a big deal for it. Then I think Call of Duty 4 was where it really broke out of the mainstream.
Oh, well,
because it was competing with Medal of Honor, if you guys remember. It used to be like, Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, they're both pretty much the same exact game.
I remember... It
started with Call of Duty 4, but then I think like Modern Warfare 2 was where it really just exploded.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, for me, is one of those games where you look back, and at that age that you were, it looked so much better than it actually... Like, you remember it looking much better than it actually was. I remember, like, back then, I remember watching, like, previews and advertisements for Call of Duty 4.
Oh, God.
And like, it looked so good. Like, in my mind, I remember it looking so amazing. And now going back and looking at it, it really... like it's a good game. Like artistically speaking, it's pretty good. Especially the single player, I think is really underrated. But it's kind of funny when you just go back.
This is why I'm glad that I didn't get into Call of Duty until Black Ops 2. And I've gone back and I've played Call of Duty 4 on PC. But I played Black Ops 2, Ghost, and Advanced Warfare on PC, so I didn't have to deal with any of that.
Don't be glad, Kev, because Call of Duty 4, you missed a lot.
I play Call of Duty 4 on PC.
Honestly, World at War was my shit.
Like Call of Duty 4.
World at War had an amazing multiplayer before it got overrun with hackers.
Yeah,
that's every
I'm disappointed with that because I actually bought it, and before we all met, like I think I told y'all when we met on Mass Effect, except Travis, I refused to pay for Xbox Live, so I had an Xbox 360 for years and wouldn't pay for online. So I had World at War, but I played the single player.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
but it's like the reason I started was I was still in high school, and Call of Duty was just everyone was playing it, so I'd get on after school with like several other friends, and that's what we do. We just play Call of Duty and we run, That's like the only reason I'd play it. Like it wasn't even like if I didn't have friends on, I couldn't stand to play it. I was like, this is just shit.
Well, you say that about Battlefield now, so
yeah.
Is it just competitive games? Or?
I just want to note that one of the downsides of being on cams is I realize you guys can see the faces that I'm making at you normally.
What, I'm not amused faces?
No, the like.
Yeah, it's like all the weird movements that you don't
all the weird faces. I actually like am making faces like like or something like that. I realized that like I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know that was gonna happen.
You what?
You got to do the glasses thing where you're push up the glasses.
No, my glasses are fine. It's the angle that I'm sitting at.
No, he was talking about adjusting your glasses.
Like
adjusting glasses.
I was about to say no, my camera's down, but I'm 6'3", so.
Well, let's just say that we've derailed very successfully off the topic of porn.
Yeah,
and that'll make a nice smooth.
There was a reason for that, though.
Yes.
Let's be honest. I put the stories together this week, and it was that story's only there for Fallout hype. That's the only reason I grabbed it.
Fallout hype in porn.
Fallout hype.
Well, we got more Fallout hype. Well, not so much. More along the lines of some actual serious topic to discuss here. So the MLB threatened copyright action over a Fallout 4 mod depicting a character skin of the Boston Red Sox's David Ortiz. And essentially they more or less said that it was infringing on their copyrights, and they demanded that they would take action. Although the story reported didn't actually say if they had, the modder said that he would take it down if they sent him a letter requesting it. So let's spend some time here discussing fair use and what is or is not considered parody, because this was the big thing I heard. People were saying hey, this is parody, which is one of the
frozen, by the way.
The screen's frozen.
The stream is frozen.
Oh, nice! That's amazing.
Wow.
Your face is all like sideways. I'm sitting there like sternly staring at the camera.
That is great, because everything says it's operating fine.
Yeah, it's frozen on me too. I'm gonna just refresh the screen and see if we even have audio or something.
By the way,
there we go.
Oh, yeah, we're back. We're back.
Yeah. No. Oh, okay. Anyway, so yes, we're gonna call that a fuckcast mess up. The best internet service provider in hell.
So can we just continue on by saying fuck all the professional sports associations? The MLB, the NFL.
No, I'm not there yet.
I think I can stand behind that.
Well, here's my thing: is at the same time, dude, it's a freaking skin in a video game made by a modder that probably only a handful of people will download, because it's
MLB doesn't give a fuck because they're big business, and it's like you gotta just stomp all over.
Well, Well, it's
Well, it
because
goes beyond.
these kinds of businesses are so used to making ridiculous amounts of money on selling their licensing that when something like this comes up, they're like, "Oh, we could have made $5 billion off of this
Yeah.
licensing deal from
You
this
want to
free
make a
mod that this
mod
person."
of our players? It's like you need to come to us and purchase purchase the licensing so that you can make this mod.
Right, but that's what they're like Travis said,
They're
that's
so
what they're
fucking
used
entitled.
to. It's not necessarily entitlement, it's just that's how their businesses are normally operated. Like if this was say a t-shirt, nobody would say anything.
It's a combination of entitlement, not understanding the laws, and not understanding the medium.
I think you're half right. I don't think this is entitlement at all. I think this is really just how they're used to doing business. Misunderstanding.
Operating.
Yeah, it's misunderstanding.
Well, the thing is,
they don't understand the internet, and they don't really understand.
They don't want to.
Well, the thing is,
they don't have to.
Well, here's my thing though: is that first of all, it is technically not fair use. Because here's the thing: is that here's the major point of it is that a lot of people are claiming it's parody. No, not really, because it's not really clear that they're making fun of anything that's not relevant to David Ortiz in any way, or the Red Sox, or anything MLB. It's David Ortiz running around beating up zombies with a baseball bat, which a lot of people will get confused and think that that's some kind of product placement for the MLB. If it's confusing, that's not really parody.
All I know is this is like Disney going after that guy. Like one of the first mods I did for Skyrim
was realistically speaking, is there any legal backing? Seeing as this is not this is a non-profit free mod. This is just a project.
Okay, before you go on here, something being free actually is irrelevant in fair use.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Whether or not you're making profit off of it, it's irrelevant. It honestly is. Because there have been cases where someone did something that was infringing on a copyright, not necessarily in a video game, but just in general, and they were making no profit off of it and tried to make that argument, and the court said no.
The Grey Album. The Grey Album is a perfect example of that. I can't remember the name of the DJ right now. And I know off the top of my head. Anyway, they did a mashup between Jay-Z's Black Album and the Beatles' White Album. This is about 11 years ago. Completely free, put it on the internet. It was something he did for fun. He got cease and desist letters and got sued over something he did for fun. He just put it on the internet because he thought it was cool. It was a really cool album. It was just a mashup.
I feel like let's bring up the fact that copyright law in general is so incredibly outdated.
Right, but when that album came out in 2004, it would have been one of the biggest rap albums of 2004 had it actually been on retail shelves.
Yeah, well, the thing is...
they had an argument there.
Yeah, the thing is that you're right, copyright is definitely broken. It is something that's, it's something that definitely needs a lot of work. It needs to be completely thrown out and redone. However, here's my play on it, is that as someone that has to operate in that space, unless in some way I can initiate, if I get some kind of big following to actually push through some of that policy, get that remade, which I don't even think the biggest YouTubers out there could really do anything about, because hell, they're not even really taken seriously by people outside of the YouTube space. So that's a thing. But here's my thing, is that since I have to live in this space and I have to work with it, then you best know what you're doing. If you're going to mod a video game, and you're going to mod it like your best favorite baseball player, hey, he probably likes David Ortiz, that's cool. If it's not working, then you just have to, you can't keep it to yourself. You can't release it out if it's going to infringe on something and get you in trouble.
No, that's never how it's...
That's not how it's been on the internet, but that is kind of how copyright laws work. The problem is the internet is such a gray area.
There's so much like previous quote unquote copyright infringement that exists right now, because this kind of thing has been going on for a long time in the modding community. Like this isn't just an isolated incident. This is something that's been going on. That's why I thought personally that it was like for use, because it has been going on.
Just because they chase them down doesn't make doesn't change the law. You can run a red light you and somebody else coming on a red light, a cop can pull you over, and you can't say, "Oh well, he did it." In law,
I'm waiting for the race card. Waiting for the race card.
It's not a race card. I'm saying just you guys run a red light.
That was another conversation outside the podcast that Kevin and I had. It's like, you get pulled over. Why? Oh, anyway.
But I'm saying, like, you can't say that, oh, he ran the red light and so did I. Well, I pulled you over.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that got to do with him? And this is the same kind of deal.
And that's the thing, is there's some companies that make an avid effort to not.
But running red lights is also enforced, right? This is something that hasn't been enforced.
It has been enforced to an extent.
Yeah.
People have come after modders before, but it doesn't. But not everyone.
But has it been enforced to a realistic extent that it's like?
For example, here's a good example. So for, I think it was Oblivion, I think was when this happened. Whenever Oblivion was out, a modder started making a lot of Lord of the Rings stuff in there. You know, like Sting the sword and Gandalf attire, or, you know, make your guy look like Gandalf, whatever. They made a ton of Lord of the Rings stuff based off the likeness from the movies. And that got shut down quick. If you want the two areas that you can get your stuff shut down quick, it's usually the movie industry and the sports industry. They're the two ones that are the most aggressive about copyright and fair
music
use.
Industry.
The music industry is
to an extent,
but the thing is that I have not once encountered a movie or sports memorabilia that was royalty free. Have you?
Yeah.
You can find royalty-free music all over the place.
Yeah, royalty-free music is all over the place because there's a lot of...
You should have seen, there was an article, I think it was on the piracy subreddit, and it was...
Why were you hanging out at the piracy subreddit?
Anyway, because it's actually interesting stuff that's brought up there.
Of course.
This conversation is going to go interesting places.
Anyway, so
really
there was
quick.
an article where it was like the head of the MPAA was whining about privacy laws. You know, laws that hide like your IP address. You know, the laws that, you know, protect your privacy. He's like, this stops us from pursuing pirates. And it was basically him bitching about how they can't go after every single person who downloads anything from them.
The thing is that
there's extremes to everything. That guy's an extremist. You're not going to get every single person.
Even anonymizers, like there was supposedly some stuff, some shady stuff about Carnegie Mellon University guys getting paid by the government to essentially de-anonymize Tor users.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's even anonymizing is not really anonymous.
I mean, specifically,
Tor
hasn't been secure for quite a while now.
You have to, there's several steps you have to take outside of that. We're not this. I've already went on my rant about internet security. I'm not.
We could probably talk about this a lot, but yeah.
We're let's just go ahead and move on.
So I guess that shows my my misconceptions in that I personally thought that there was a fair use thing there, because
essentially the two ways that fair use was actually established, and the reason fair use was established is 1, reviews, and 2, parody. Because essentially the idea in copyright and what they wanted is they wanted people to be able to review, like say a book. You know, I copyright a book, I write a book, it's mine.
I mean, all the guy has to do to get them off his back is literally just go in and make like minor alterations.
Yeah.
To like the uniform, like change the name from Ortiz, or just take out like one letter, so it's like Otiz, and then like change slightly, and then it's like, nope, you guys have no case now.
Which brings us to the question to like, why is this still a thing? Why hasn't this been fought by more people?
Because dinosaur businesses have lots of money.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it costs you thousands of dollars. Like essentially what those big companies will try to do is they know that you don't have the financial backing. Well, most people. They know that most people don't have the financial backing, so they will try to hold up things in court as long as possible to rack up those lawyer bills and those legal fees.
Yep,
So
you can't fight that army of lawyers.
Yeah, so you just literally can't find it. That's another problem that tort reform is really needed. That's a whole another bag of rocks there, where
So
essentially
you guys just want to add about 3 hours tonight?
Yeah, we could go on. I actually have discussed
my wife
this
would murder me.
Yeah, like There's
we'll
a
just
whole bunch.
conclude that shit is fucked. Okay.
Yeah, copyright system screwed up, but within the system that exists, this was not fair use. He really should have thought that one out better. Maybe did some research. Moral of the story, if you're going to mod a game, make it unique content. That's the best stuff anyway.
All I know is I was able to download a mod for Skyrim that replaced my moon with a Death Star. I didn't hear anything from Disney.
Sometimes I see cool stuff.
That was before Disney
Teletubbies mod for Left 4 Dead. I think it's awesome.
Alternatively speaking, he could have just anonymously posted it, or done things such as use torrents to distribute it. I mean, that's like a distributed.
But
kind
why
of
not? Why not just have your guy in a generic baseball? If you really wanted a baseball,
I think if he wanted Ortiz,
the point.
He wanted
if he wanted Ortiz, then he could have made it for himself. There would have been no issue had he kept it for himself. It's the fact that he distributed.
I think it's also a reference to, I don't know if you've played much, but like the main hub city, Diamond City, is literally a city built within.
It's Boston.
The ballpark.
Yeah,
random thought too. They have the Cheers restaurant in there, and you don't hear the people from Cheers complaining. They have the actual restaurant there.
Yeah, well, no, that's because Bethesda got licensing. There's Bethesda went out of their way. Like they got licensing for not Wrigley Field, that's Chicago. God, my friends in Boston.
I don't follow baseball.
My friends in Boston are going to shoot me for not remembering the baseball field for the Red Sox, but they actually got licensing from the MLB, which I think that's why this ended up on the MLB's radar, is because there was licensing in the game for Boston's stadium. But it's like, hey man, you just got the best content, the best mods for these games are the stuff that's unique anyway.
I still like the Teletubbies mod.
That's all the ones I went for Skyrim, all the ones that I did for, Morrowind, for Fallout New Vegas. All the mods I've ever done for those games have all been stuff that's unique and interesting and added depth to the game within the lore in the universe. I can understand maybe a person, hey, they're playing around with their mod kit. They want to make David Ortiz. Cool. Doesn't mean you have to distribute it, especially when it's something that's copyrighted.
But other people,
I hear you.
But other people,
am I the only weirdo then that only downloads texture mods? Really?
I know. Well, like with Skyrim, I downloaded.
I upgrade graphics and I
personally, I'm a fan. Personally, I'm a fan of ignoring things that aren't right, and
you mean ignoring things your computer can't run?
No,
he's meaning laws.
I'm trying to remember the term. What's it called? I'm sure you know what it's called, Morty. There's a term for it.
Obstinate, rebellious.
I don't know. There's a specific term for there's a specific term for disregarding frivolous laws, and if a large there's laws on the books that nobody follows because they're frivolous, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, like in the city, I heard that it is legal to screw a goat downtown as long as your testicles are not showing.
Why do you know that law? What have you been doing?
Do a Google search for blue laws. They're essentially archaic laws. They're just archaic laws that are no longer really enforced, but they are still legally actually at laws in different areas.
I'm pretty sure there's a law in Miami. I'm pretty sure there's a law in Miami that makes it illegal to molest alligators.
Yeah, there's like some really bizarre laws.
Your dick bit off.
I'm just saying, there's some really, just do a Google search for blue laws. It's not necessarily sexual. There's some really oddball laws, like you're not allowed to walk backwards down Main Street in this little town, middle of nowhere. Like really odd laws that you have to really question the mindset of the legislative body when they made them.
Especially like city laws, like laws that are exclusive to like a city, especially smaller towns. Like they get some really oddball ones, like really strange ones.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and get moving on. I think we've discussed legal silliness enough here.
Let's talk about EA.
No.
Oh, EA?
Not EA yet. We'll get to
I'll
EA
throw it
first. We're gonna get to fun gender topics because everybody gets huffy over this. So essentially, the new Nintendo 3DS, whatever, release Hyrule Warriors Legends is going to have a female version of Link, called Linkle, I guess. Yeah. So essentially, here's the thing. This was actually a character that they had kind of sitting in the background who was kind of, they wanted to try to find a way to place her for supposedly for, about a year now or a couple years now. But the real topic to discuss here is this kind of... Is that just because they're making use of an old, unused character concepts? Or is this them trying in a small, silly way to pander to the small but loud groups that are yelling for less gender bias in game?
It could be either, honestly, because I can definitely see a gender-swapped Link being like
he was
relevant.
Already kind of ambiguous as is. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'd love to see a female Link. I'd love to see a Zelda with just a female Link.
I would just like to see a new female character that's actually an interesting character.
Like, come on, Zelda can throw on battle armor and run out there.
I'm one of those people who is like, hey, we need some more. Like, we don't have to force it, but we could use more gender diversity.
I would say that yes, it is pandering. If Legend of Zelda did not already have some time split alternate reality nonsense going on, that definitely sets a precedent for this kind of thing. So as long as they work it in that way and don't just throw it in as an option that you can flick over and now you're a female Link, I can understand that.
Now, she's her own unique character, and they have male Link there, too.
Yeah.
But I like this. Like, I'm one of those people that have been saying, especially because every Zelda is a whole new storyline. I'd love to see, say, like, instead of Zelda and Link being together and he's trying to get her or save her or whatever, you're saving your sister. Maybe Zelda's your mother. Flip the story around.
Well, the thing is that the only little bit of
Nintendo
lore,
ain't got time for that.
Yeah, no, the only little bit of lore that Zelda has really had was Ganon seems to always be behind it in some fashion or another. Link is a guy. Zelda is the damsel in distress, which that's already been the point of controversy by certain loud groups of the minority opinion that are all like trying to find fault in any video game, no matter how long ago it was made. Yes, I heard someone bitching and complaining that Zelda was encouraging women to be weak and that they needed to be rescued by men. Because that's something that I have a problem with. I have no problem with gender diversity. I am all for it. I like whenever I see... The few things that I like is I like a not contrived female character in a game. Sorry, DAI. Inquisition had some horribly... contrived stereotypes.
It's like I just want to see good characters. Like you go to play, for example.
I don't care if they're guys or girls. Give me good characters.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, I feel like there's still. I feel like there's still a place for stereotypes, personally speaking, because having somebody like there's times where I want my tropey,
Wait, no, that's just you not moving. Holy shit!
You guys did that.
Where I
froze, but he was just sitting there.
There are times when I want my tropey power tripping gaming experience.
You guys heard it. Travis is a misogynist.
But I also do not call for I'm not gonna be upset if games get made that don't fit that don't fit that type of gameplay for me.
I think I hear what you're saying. I'm kind of like that too. Like, I'm one of those people that want to play more diverse characters, and it's like for example, when everybody threw a fit about Mafia 3, I thought that was an interesting twist on the story. Like, what can we do with this? Like, we know most Mafia games or most games about the mob are a bunch of Italian guys. And you throw in this black guy who just got out of Vietnam. Like, what story is he gonna tell?
Mafia 3 even been out.
I think
it's not out, but I'm saying people were mad when with the reveal and they had a black guy and not this Italian guy.
People were upset that the main character of like the new Star Wars movie is gonna be black, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Shut up.
But that's not even so much what I'm getting at. Too. It's not necessarily about the race card. It's about the diversity. Like, give me a good game. Give me a GTA that like has an all female cast, or like an all female lead cast.
I'm not going to talk about like Star Wars. I can understand people getting upset whenever that's kind of broken when it goes against like original source material. Just
like Link always being a guy, except when he's not.
Yeah, but that's also something that's
bringing it back.
I think I'm talking more about movies that are based on other source material. The thing about Star Wars is that Disney kind of just threw out all the previous lore, so it's kind of like
I was upset at first about that, but I mean, like,
so it's like I don't have any opinion on that anymore because it, whatever.
I've just gotten to the point where I understand why they had to do it. Like, as much as I like the original canon,
the thing is, there was so
much
after episode 6. There was just it was such a great universe to build off of. So many fan fiction writers like took off with it, and they had so many different stories that didn't necessarily agree with each other. It had to happen. The only part that I don't agree with is the KOTOR universe. Why does that also have to be non-canonized? Because A, it's licensed officially by, LucasArts, and B, it takes place thousands of years before the movies ever take place.
Disney didn't want to pick and choose. They were just like going to throw everything out.
Disney scrapped a lot of licensed works as well. There was a lot of novels that were licensed that got scrapped as well.
Which is kind of that. I know that just seems lazy to me. They should have really taken their time. Now they did give all the books that have been written by authors for the Star Wars universe post Episode 6. They did give it to the directors and say, "Hey, you have access to this material," and so you may or may not see stuff in that I heard of. And I was like, "Hey, that's cool." At least they give them a chance to take a look at it. But.
Speaking of Star Wars,
let's go ahead and talk about that Star Wars and
damn you, EA!
So EA has been allegedly...
This isn't exclusive to EA.
No, this isn't. But EA's been allegedly censoring items on Reddit about Star Wars Battlefront by giving moderators supposedly special perks in exchange for deleting posts they wish not to be seen. Apparently because they're jealous of Konami getting a bunch of negative press recently.
Yeah,
Ubisoft is doing their dance right now. Nobody hates us anymore. Because you remember a year ago, everybody hated Ubisoft. Now we hate Konami.
I don't know. How did Syndicate launch? Was Syndicate buggy as shit like Unity?
No. But it was severely downgraded compared to Unity, at least on console. The PC version comes out this week.
Okay. Hopefully they didn't consoleize the PC version like they've done before.
I've seen the system requirements. They're reasonable.
Okay.
They're reasonable, and it sounds like...
It doesn't require like a 780?
No, it requires a 760, I think, to max it out.
That's
reasonable. That's reasonable. And then they said, and you're running best with an i7.
Yeah.
They said,
because you have a lot of pedestrian traffic in those games. So
right, but they cut down the pedestrian traffic on the console version.
Well, we just completely diverted off the topic here. We're supposed to be bashing EA right now.
Damn you, EA!
And like I was gonna say, with a lot of people don't realize with Reddit, there's one subreddit I go to. It's Hail Corporate, and it's literally just people pointing out like how subtle they are about their advertising in Reddit, like. They will go as far as there are people who will they create accounts and will create a comment history so that they're not obviously a bot, and then will actually go and sell these accounts to companies, and then they will use this account to subtly try and advertise for their product on Reddit.
They'll go on the related Reddits, and they'll be like, "Hey guys, look at this new thing that's awesome."
They make it sound like it's not an advertisement. They're like, "Oh, I did this," and then like they'll show a picture, and it'll just happen to see the product placement there, or they'll bring up the product, and they're so subtle about it. Like I've seen they've had entire like charts and different stuff showing like the exact techniques on how to advertise to Reddit without letting the Redditors know too obviously that you're an advertiser. Like,
well,
I mean, that's been happening on forums forever, though.
I know,
that's like I've seen it in forums that aren't even gaming related.
EA was just really obvious about it.
Well, I mean, this kind of thing, this has happened a lot with Riot games. Like, they've got
legal.
Right.
No, here's the worst part: the guys at League of Legends, they didn't even get anything out of it. They would have probably given the Riot developers, like the Riot employees, they would have probably given them blowjobs. They would have given them blowjobs for them just calling them Bud, probably. Like, they were fucking doing everything for them, like for no billing gain.
I hope nobody under 18 is watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Warning, this is for mature audiences only.
I know, right?
Anyway, so yeah, the problem I have here is every person that gets into business at some point in time takes a business ethics course.
Hopefully.
Yeah, well, the thing is they take it, and then they promptly say, yeah, like that's gonna happen.
Oh, it's like them college psychology classes. You know, you're required to take them, but after you pass the class off of this.
And then I went and minored in it.
Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, here's the thing: is this is something that's becoming more and more prevalent as time goes on. Ethics. Good God, businesses need to get some. EA bribing
people too.
There's no incentive for it. I mean, you can say, companies need to have it.
Yeah, they need to have it, but they won't do it because
there's
no incentive. Fucking sheep will just pick it up no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. People are super brand loyal. Like, look at, for example, the Xbox One. Now, I like the Xbox One, but all the people that like all the anti-consumer stuff they were doing, that's the reason I ended up on PC so early.
I swear.
And people defended that shit for months.
I swear we're living in the Shadowrun universe. Like, as technology, employs blood mages and, wants to hasten the apocalypse, it doesn't matter. They own Stuffer Shack, and everybody loves Stuffer Shack.
What was that
TV
but I want those
exclusives.
Have you guys seen the TV show Continuum?
No.
Yeah, I watched the first.
So I'm just saying, if you guys remember the future world of Continuum, corporations ran everything.
That's where we're heading.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a suspicion.
That's like the DMC reboot was actually had a lot of that in there too. A lot of from what I played about half of it.
He also a mop fell on his head, and he looked at his reflection and said, "I'd never do."
What?
Talk about Willis.
He like pretty much they just gave a big FU to all of the old Devil May Cry fans by the younger Dante having a mop fall on his head, so it looked like the hairstyle of the old Dante, and he saw his reflection and he more or less said, "Oh, that looks stupid," or something like that, and threw it off his head.
I didn't like the new Dante. That's what killed it. And I didn't even play the old DMCs.
He was an emo.
I mean, I didn't even play the old DMCs, and I didn't like this guy.
I don't even play Devil May Cry, and I just look at the new guy, the new Dante.
Let's be honest.
He's a douchebag.
He's kind of always been a douchebag.
It's
just that instead of being the kind of old... well, no, it's instead of being... He's just a different type of douchebag. Instead of being the old suave douchebag, now he's the Chris Angel douchebag.
The original Dante was more like, instead of douchebag, he was more like snarky jerk-ass, where new Dante is just total douche.
Why are you bringing up people that are no longer relevant, Morty?
I'm just saying, he's still a douchebag.
I mean, come on, we bring up Terraria. Was Terraria still relevant?
Absolutely. Have you been to the Terraria Reddit? I don't think you have.
No, I haven't. I don't deal with Terraria.
People actually go to a Reddit about Terraria?
I go to a Reddit for KOTOR. The original KOTOR.
It's Fallout season. I don't know what any of these other games are.
That's because Kev fails at life. You guys heard it here first.
I feel like Fallout because Joe's already beat it. And he's like halfway on a second playthrough.
How do you guys do this?
I rushed through the first playthrough because I ended up... like my character, I try to do everything with him because it was like my first character. I want to do fucking everything. It's like he's gonna be like in power armor the whole entire time. He's gonna use all the heavy weapons, and then it's like then I want to do melee. And then I was like, all right, I'm bored of this character. Let's go finish and then start up a new character.
Yes, but let's go ahead and get moving on since we're moving on the time here.
I saw that look on your face. That oh god, they're going on another tangent.
Another tangent. Yes. It's what happens. This is what happens whenever I'm not on point. Whenever I'm distracted, these guys just run amok. It happens every time. Anyway, so the evergreen topic this week.
This is why we chose to let you moderate.
Yes.
Remember, I told you I don't want that.
Yeah, that's because we would never get anything accomplished if you hosted this.
Right.
You guys would end up talking about
jacket on. What is this?
I know. He ready to go somewhere.
Man,
I got ladies.
I live in Florida, man. Like
that's why we don't understand why you're wearing jackets. Like you and Joe have no reason wearing jackets.
Because I have a fucking fan running over my head. So
yeah, you live in a fucking desert.
I'm just saying here. It's better here than where I was before. Temperature rose about 15 degrees. But anyway, so evergreen topic.
Let's go on.
With the official release of the Windows 10 update for Xbox One, this topic seems a bit relevant to talk about. Is the consoles trying to be more like a PC a good thing or a bad thing? And let's go ahead and start with Travis on that. Do you think a more PC-like console is a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing for PornHub.
Well, let's be honest. It's a great thing for Microsoft and Sony too. The problem is that, at least for me, and I'm sorry, I'm talking over Travis.
No, go ahead.
Getting all of the bullshit that comes with PC gaming, like all of the errors, all of the incompatibility BS. All this shit.
I'm just gonna throw this out here. The next time you talk over Travis, I am going to e-slap you out of the Skype call.
Do it! No, where was I? Oh, so we don't believe you.
This is like I was getting to you last because I knew you had the most to say on it. I was giving everybody else a chance to talk first.
They won't get a chance. But
that's okay. We can wait till Joe starts. Just wait.
Oh, I'm gonna pay him off too. Like all the bullshit of consoles are PCs and none of the benefits. That's the TLDR version of it. Like,
thank God they're
just using it to take advantage of consumers.
So, Travis, did you have anything else to say before this certain guy?
It doesn't matter.
Before Kev so rudely interrupted me.
Yep.
Damn.
As I was saying, I mean, I've chimed in a lot about this subject and how I feel about it, and that I honestly feel that like PC should be the standard, anyways, just because from a user standpoint, I feel like it's mostly people being uninformed as to the reason why it's not quite as popular as it should be. From my perspective, I don't see any reason to own a console anymore if you have a decently built PC. I can do everything that a console can do on a PC and more, and probably somebody's made an application to make it more streamlined than a console.
Go ahead, Joe. You sound like you have something to say.
It doesn't matter.
Joe, so I understand you play a lot of console games.
The peasantry.
How do you feel about your console with its very streamlined and sensuous user interface that has no complexity and doesn't require a lot of thought, and suddenly it's being all complicated with menus and FOV sliders and the like? How does that make you feel?
So, Morty, how does it make you feel trying to tongue your mic there?
Oh man, you're now imagining Morty pillow talking his mic.
That's what it looked like.
That's why I got an expensive microphone.
Let's get his wife in the comment section. See if she'll talk some crap too.
No, she doesn't want to watch this. This would bore the hell out of her. I don't see how, but
who can watch a podcast on its own? Like, I turn on a podcast and then I go do other shit while I'm listening to podcasts.
That's pretty much what everybody does.
Yeah, like who watches a podcast?
Well, that is if the podcast doesn't have
me
Kev on it. Yeah,
because I'm interesting.
Yeah,
Or Resident Seacox.
So,
well, I thought. I thought that was supposed to be Joe, but it's turning into Kev.
Yeah. So something Travis brought up too that I wanted to talk about too, because it was funny, and I saw this on IGN. We were talking about the ease and streamlined nature.
Joe's our Dodger.
I know.
I probably watched most anime, and so yeah, probably.
I don't watch anime, so. But the ease and streamlined nature of the consoles.
Need to get a wig.
These guys on the IGN podcast were talking about Xbox Record that, and how it's so, and they were trying to say it's so innovative, and that's the reason they don't play on a PC. And where it goes back to, people being uninformed. I'm like, I have like 4 programs that can do that. And that did it before Xbox did.
Well, Windows 10 now has Record that in the Xbox app.
And it limits you to like up to 5 minutes. Like now, because Morty has sold me on OBS, I can do up to like 3 hours.
Man, like Windows 10 is so slick. I gotta say, I'm enjoying Windows 10 so much.
I haven't
right
tested out at some point, Kev. Since I know you're on an Xbox One, I don't know who else is. I might have to see. I haven't tried a PC to Xbox party chat before.
They work really well.
Yeah, like because that's about the only thing that I would say a console had past tense was the ecosystem of like friends list and all that. On Xbox Live versus PSN. Now, Windows 10 has that.
Well, easily accessible via IP.
Steam still kind of has that. You can do party chat on Steam.
Does everybody?
Everybody uses TeamSpeak and Skype because it's more flexible.
My complaint about PC, and this is one of my concerns about consoles becoming more PC-like. TeamSpeak, Mumble, freaking Skype, Origin, Steam.
We're all separated. And it makes it seem like we're not together, you mean?
Yeah, I've got like 30,000 different... Not really. It's more like, 50 different people split across like 10 different services.
That
it's
competition
obnoxious.
Is what makes our prices not,
Yes.
Right. That's one benefit. But what he's talking about is that how do we keep us as a community?
Yeah.
You can't keep us together because we're so spread out.
Yeah.
And it seems
everyone
like
has a
we're
Steam
not.
account.
What, Travis?
There's this thing called the Ascension Project.
Oh yeah, this independent project. We know about that.
Meant to fix that.
Well, no, what I'm talking about is I want, and I honestly hope that at some point maybe Windows 10 can, get the Xbox app to be adopted by more people, on PC, because I would absolutely love to have a unified friend system. God damn it, guys, move a little bit when you're on cam so I don't think that you're frozen there. Like, every time I start talking, you guys are like...
I started moving my hands for a second, and you two just started acting like fucking ass clowns. So.
You happy I dance now?
Yeah. But no, like, that's my thing, is that that's one thing I hate about PC that's great about consoles, is the fact that the user bases being scattered on their communication platforms, not necessarily the gaming platforms, because I understand GOG and Origin and or GOG, whatever, GOG. I like calling it GOG because it sounds funny. But having those does drive the prices down, having more options. But at the same time, I also am thoroughly in belief that there needs to be some kind of uniform communication platform. So my Dragon Age friends, I can talk with them at the same time I'm talking to SOTOR friends.
If you play on PC and you don't have Steam, like as much as I dislike some aspects of Steam, pretty much everybody uses Steam.
That's a huge part of the market, but that's irrelevant to somebody who's a hardcore Battlefield player.
Well, the thing is that honestly, I've not been too pleased with a lot of their. They've gotten better with their voice platform, but honestly, still not as good as TeamSpeak. Whenever you're dealing, the reason why TeamSpeak and GameVox and Mumble get used a lot is the idea of having rooms and organization, especially when you have large amounts of people. Like in SOTOR, you can get some clans that have like hundreds of people, and you're trying to organize your raids and all this, and you don't want a bunch of people clouding up the chat when you're doing a really difficult raid with, you already have, I think, 8 to 16 people in those big raids. Having 20, 25, 30 people in there, that already is going to get shit confused.
MMO problems.
Well, Morty, like I said, that project, this is being worked on right now. There are unification projects being worked on right now that are working to unify the libraries and the friends lists of the different platforms, Steam, GOG, and all that. And voice is just an auxiliary of that, and if that doesn't come out alongside it or soon after it, I would be greatly surprised.
If it doesn't come out, I will throw a fit. I will sit in my chair and slam my hands down, kick my feet around, and cry and scream until the video game PC mommy comes and says, "Shut the fuck up."
Well, hopefully you don't bruise your legs. I like an app called Overwolf that actually kind of streamlined all this stuff and enabled Skype support.
The thing is that Skype support's all right, but I really like it with GameVox. I actually use it frequently with GameVox for Inquisition, because one of the things it does that it's great at, if it doesn't crash Origin, because sometimes Overwolf does that, is that it has a really great overlay for TeamSpeak and for GameVox, where you can actually see who's talking without having to look at a different screen. It's actually really, really handy. And there's, a couple guys. There's this one guy that I played Inquisition with quite a bit, who's been dubbed a promotion lord, because that's all he does in the game is he promotes and then promotes and promotes. But in any case, he actually started up a server on GameVox and pretty much tried to get all of the remaining BSN players from Inquisition into that. It's tough to play that game much anymore, I'll be honest. I have to do one more video of it, and I don't really want to because I hate that character. I've done all the characters I have, but yeah. Anyway, the fragmentation is something that's an issue to me, and I really hope that it gets resolved.
Me too, but I think it's something that's kind of hard to resolve because every other platform is doing every other thing. Unless we can get everybody onto Steam, which isn't really going to happen, but it's not the easiest way to make it.
But the thing is, one of the things that is great about PC, though, is the fact that there is the diversity out there. There's the choice. That's one of the things. It's like, I don't like the fragmentation, but at the same time, the fragmentation is a symptom of choice, which I'm always for. So it's kind of like, I can't have my cake and eat it too.
Morty, Morty, I'd really have to kind of disagree with you on that. I think that the fragmentation isn't. I think part of it is choice, but I think the majority of it is actually companies. I don't think this is a consumer choice. I think if given the choice, consumers would definitely flock to for the most part, flock to one single place for all their games and voice chat and friend needs.
Yeah, well, that's been proven with Steam.
It's companies that make these separate communities and splinter everything off, and like EA and like Ubisoft, they force people to use their platforms if they want to play their games.
What is going on with your face?
I don't know. Like I'm gonna have to disagree with that, Travis, only because we have things like Reddit. We have things like Reddit that allow people to play together. That allow people to meet together. Morty's distracting the hell out of me. So, you can meet people on things like Reddit or even in-game, text chat. Because obviously nobody uses voice chat.
But
we're on TeamSpeak or we're on Mumble. Hey, get on our server.
We're not talking about that, Kev. We're talking about a unified friends list in a game sense.
Right, but I'm saying that's what. But I'm saying the companies aren't, at least to me, aren't at fault of fragmenting the community, because I don't feel like that really fragments the community of one game. That's kind of what I'm saying.
I derailed so long ago. I've mentally just went off course. So, like I said, though, well, the thing is it's not necessarily companies, because essentially, I'm realizing every time I lean on this desk, I'm rattling the camera around horribly, and I've probably been doing it the whole time. The thing is like I said, I kind of feel like if we forced everybody into a unified platform, then that would remove some of the choice. Maybe they liked something about a certain program that they used, and that's the reason why they chose it. You know, like TeamSpeak versus Mumble or GameVox or Skype or whatever. They like something specifically about that, and that's why they chose it.
That's where I was trying to say, Morty, is that a lot of, at least in terms of like friends lists and library communities, it's not as much of a choice as it is being forced for the most part. I mean, I would love to have Ubisoft and EA games on my Steam and be able to, you know, not have to have those other things open, and just have everything on Steam.
Yeah,
but I can't.
Yeah. I think that's most people's preference. Thing, yeah, Joe prefers GOG. So I get where you're going.
Yeah. I chair clap.
Oh, did it?
I was like, I'm sitting there trying not to do anything distracting while Travis is talking, and then my chair, I think I bumped the and
all of a sudden you just went shh.
Yeah.
I thought we were really seeing his real height. He's really 5'4".
No, I'm 6'1", so
all these tall motherfuckers. I'm like 5'3" over here.
Tall man.
Travis, you short? I'm 6'3", so I don't have these problems.
Caleb, who was on the podcast last week, 6'5", so
yeah, I'm like 5'9".
He dwarfs me. He's a big beanpole, like skinny as hell, and like literally is just straight up and down. I'm like, yeah.
Again, I'm like 5'3".
Yeah, I'm 5'9".
So Joe's our resident midget. So
5'9", which is close to average.
You know what?
Tyrion Lannister.
All them tall.
I know it was really you that did it.
With the candlestick in the library?
No. Oh, Tyrion. Never mind.
Oh man,
you guys don't watch Game of Thrones. Never mind.
There was a library porn post on Reddit today. Oh, it was so good.
How is this going to turn out? We go from midgets to porn. I don't want to know where this
we
is going.
We started the stream of porn, so it wasn't going to go well.
Yeah.
I remember that reminded me. I saw something on the PC Master Race subreddit where they were talking about there was a giveaway going on, and it was something shady about it. I didn't look at the specifics of it, but then I seen little comments. Someone links something where the site was called like Hump the Bundle. And it's literally it's listen, it's porn for charity. I looked down, I was like, what?
It's for charity.
Yep. It's basically imagine Humble Bundle.
But it's porn.
Yes. That's what it is.
I keep telling y'all the internet is for porn.
Yeah. I saw that and I'm like, I'm not even surprised by this.
I'm not surprised that it exists.
How do we get back to video games? So the PS4 and Xbox One are too much like PCs.
Yeah,
not in a good way.
Which the thing is that PornHub already released demographics that a lot of porn gets watched by consoles.
They've been doing it for a few years now. They even show specifics of what like genre of porn each console watches.
Wow! I remember they were making porn on the PS4 with the PlayStation Eye in the showroom, and they were like, and I heard that story. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What, I wonder what the demographics for the Wii is.
They actually have it. I can go.
I just hope it's over 18.
I'm just saying. Do you guys really think that Linkle, the female Link, was come up with for a legitimate video game? Someone would have some girl on girl porn in the Link universe, and well, Link and Zelda are the really only two characters. So
one of them had to take a tinkle on the other because they're into that dirty fetish stuff.
Oh, they tried to add Navi, but she was just too small.
Couldn't fit.
And the whole time she just kept screaming, "Hey,
it's too big!
Listen!"
So why do they keep trying to make these console games look like PC games?
No, that was one of the things. Whenever I played the Destiny beta on Xbox 360, like I was like, why the hell does this have like a floaty mouse cursor that I'm controlling with the controller?
I think it was initially designed for PC.
It was, and then
they realized
happened?
that they knew they'd make a lot more money on consoles because PC players aren't going to put up some of the shit they
I
did.
totally think that's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, because there's like you look at the biggest PC games out there.
So fucking massive on PC.
It would have been. It would because it's a shooter MMO. It's like Warframe. Warframe has millions of followers.
Right, but that's the problem. There's no competition for it on the consoles.
Warframe's on the consoles, and it's got millions of followers.
Yeah, but it wasn't initially. And how many console players are going to play a free-to-play over... I don't know very many.
No,
I know a lot of them that shun free-to-play.
The thing is, that's the thing, is on PC, you get a lot of people on PC that can't stand the free-to-play market. They think it's a scam, blah, blah, blah. They want a game they can play or buy and play.
See, most people I meet on PC just tend to be a lot more open-minded.
I'm just saying, stop posting stuff in the damn Skype chat because it keeps popping back up the annoying overlay buttons.
Oh, does it? Yeah, I know. As we're watching more,
and the only way I can get rid of it is by clicking on the little chat button to show the chat to everybody. Here, let me go ahead and put your chat. Whatever you typed in there is going to be up on the screen.
You don't want to see what Travis just posted there.
Insights porn a year in review on PornHub.
I did not post that. That was
that was Major. My bad.
Yeah, it was Joe. Joe posted it. He had looked.
He was looking up the statistics.
Yeah, while we were sitting there talking about games, he's looking up PornHub.
He's over here.
Sorry, Kev, you've been replaced as our senior porn correspondent.
I told you, he's the only single one here.
Travis is our senior Dota 2 correspondent, so stop posting shit in the chat. I just got the damn thing put away.
Here comes your brother.
No. Anyway, so let's go ahead and give our final thoughts and get out of here because we're so far derailed at this point.
We've been off topic all night.
So Kev can shut up and Travis can give his final thoughts.
My final thoughts. Gosh. I don't know. I wasn't done talking about the PC thing. That's still all on my mind.
Add that to your final thoughts.
Yeah, I guess add that to my final thoughts. I think it just makes me excited for the future because, as technology progresses, I think things are going to change drastically. I don't think that the current console paradigm will last forever.
Yeah. Joe.
And I hope it doesn't, so.
Yep. Joe, what's your final thoughts? PornHub, our new senior porn correspondent, MajorStupidity.
Fallout 4 is good, but...
Nudie mods?
But good old Bethesda with all their technical issues.
That's almost given. That's why we need modders.
Yeah, we didn't discuss...
Wait for the modding community to fix it.
We didn't discuss the whole being tied to the game speed being tied
because Kev doesn't want to. Kev wants us to be blind sheep.
Oh my gosh!
I don't have these problems.
It's actually something that's
most
common in a lot of games
because these issues are only usually for people who are.
Is it common in AAA PC games?
Oh yeah,
in 2015.
Oh yeah,
in 2015.
In 2015, there was what was the other game that just came out?
This is fucking nonsense.
No, there's another game that just came out not long ago that had a similar problem where if you uncapped the frame rate and tuned it up, you didn't really notice a whole lot until you got up to around 80 to 90.
I'll just bring this up.
FPS.
I go into my settlement. And I'm looking for the Brahmin that's supposed to be in the settlement that, I can use as food source and such for my settlers. I look around, and on top of the fucking tavern roof there's the Brahmin just hanging out on the roof.
He's like, what's up?
He's like, what's up, guys?
I own this place.
I look at the building next to it, the workshop, and in the window, inside the tiny little, room there's another pack Brahmin with his full gear in his pack, and he's, jammed into the bathroom, just, hanging out there, too.
Yeah, Bethesda charm. Now, see, I haven't experienced these glitches, and I have about 16 hours in the game. I haven't experienced any of this.
That's because he keeps it at 30 frames. He's okay with that.
What? Who's okay with 30? Who's playing at 30 frames?
Kev's okay with 30 frames.
I don't know.
Not on this game.
Yeah.
This game, I'm at Ultra 60.
I
I haven't dipped below 57.
didn't you not get any problems with Fallout 3 either? Like, you just have like.
Oh no! I had a bunch of issues.
No, I'm the one that never has any
Fallout 3
problems with programs. Kev's is the one
like
that has
I don't hit any game
crash on
like
him.
Fallout 4. I don't hit any game breaking bugs, but there's all these little things that just are like.
It's the little things.
It's just this level of unpolished that I'm like.
Right, and that might even be it too. Like I've hit like no glitch that I can really remember.
At what point will Bethesda start advertising that as a feature?
I think everybody accepts that it's a feature at this point.
I don't.
Yeah, you're one of the few.
Did you know that if you plant these crops in the ground, in a few months, you can get money from them?
My settlers get stuck in walls. My Brahmin go on roofs.
There's a YouTube video. No, I'll share it with you guys later.
I saw a little GIF clip. Somebody was sniping, and you just see Dogmeat giving him the meanest mean mug.
You're like, what have you done?
I was fighting a Deathclaw, and I had the thing on the ropes, and it comes charging at me, and I go into bats and shoot it in the face as it's like right above me. Mm-hmm. I kill it, and then its corpse just flies into the air and disappears.
All right, I think this is a good moment for, if we're all saying, I think we should go through and say the most hilarious Bethesda glitch that we've seen so far. Each of our personal experiences.
I don't have enough experience with Bethesda to experience hilarious glitches.
And Morty looks like he's got something.
Oh yeah, because he's a big Elder Scrolls fan.
My first time walking out of that one cave in Skyrim, and there I am, just walking to this town, minding my own business, and then I die. How did I die, you might ask? Well, from a mammoth falling out of the sky.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. That was the moment of like, oh, no, wait, hold on. I've got one better. I actually got pictures of this at some point in time. The best one was I killed a dragon. I sucked out its soul. And then it proceeded to get back up and fly again. So, and this was with the Dragonborn DLC, so I could ride dragons. So, the skeleton dragon that got up and flew again, I did the bend will shout, got him to land, got up on him, and rode him around for like an hour while I'm taking pictures of it. That's the best glitch. Zombie dragon from hell.
So, since we're going over, should we continue with final thoughts, or are we going to keep talking about glitches?
We can do that off camera.
Yes. And stuff.
The things.
Kev, final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts, Kev.
It's Fallout season! Of course, everybody knows me around. If you're watching this on Morty's channel, Kev the Gamer. Or if you're watching, the archive on my channel tomorrow or Monday evening, to check me out again there, Kev the Gamer. Or check it out on Mortiel's channel. You can see his name on the screen. I'm assuming. Well, at least I see it on my screen. Fallout's amazing. Having fun with it. Ready for Tomb Raider to come to PC. I'm just enjoying games. This gaming season. And Morty's giving me the craziest look in the world, and I won't shut the hell up. I'm in a great mood. It's Fallout season.
I'm wondering what the hell Travis is doing, okay?
I've got this magic button. I've got this magic button. Everybody on the stream can see my mouse hovering over this magic button.
I can't see anything.
I will do it.
I can't see anything.
Yeah, you have to wait.
There's a huge delay. Remember, we'll see it. In like
I'm gonna adjust the YouTube settings so there'll be less delay in the future, because I noticed that people are commenting on stuff that happened like 30 seconds ago. But you guys should, here in a moment, be able to see the mouse hovering over the button, the magic button that I will press. In any case, my final thoughts is, everybody knows me. I'm Angelus de Mortiel. That is Mortiel. I do videos, guides, and walkthroughs on games and stuff that occasionally people watch. Yeah, now you see the button. Now you see the button. But anyway, and
the stream's frozen.
And there he goes.
It's like you're done.
Bye, Kev.
It's like we're done.
It broke my camera. That's how awesome that was. Broke the camera. Anyway, so I just released a new video for Inquisition for the Sarabas. and stuff. And then I'm going to be doing more videos on Warframe and then Mass Effect, and then some collaborations with other people in the future and things like that. Welcome to check it out and maybe subscribe. Although I really don't want to push people to subscribe because I have fears of commitment. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and run away because Kevin's a game whore, by the way.
Yes, I am. I broke 500 games on Steam now.
That's Sean's, or Kat said that you're a game whore. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and close up shop here for the night, and we will catch you all next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.
Praise gaming
and stuff.